It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Thursday, January 5th. And this is the Morning Star Drive on 117.8. We're on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe, follow us on SoundCloud, and make sure to support us on Patreon. So what is happening on this wonderful Thursday? We've got current news from around the world. It's Question and Answer Thursday. And of course, we have Until the End, the mental health podcast from Daniel Baker. All right, everyone, how are you doing today? Yes, it is Thursday. It's a very, very good day, almost the ending of the week. I hope you really enjoyed the service last night. So let's get this day started together here on the Morning Star Drive. Super thankful and grateful for all of you us joining us. And want to remind everyone, keep liking, keep commenting. Want to hear from you guys. See how you're doing. Let's build this community to the best that we're able to do. And of course, I'm so thankful. There are a lot of people commenting now, a lot of people liking the different podcasts. And I hope that you guys can kind of express all the things that are going in your heart and your mind, because there are so many things to think about also either way. Okay, so for me, I'm getting pretty excited because there's exactly 1 week before my parents fly in. And I'm researching the places we can go. Not sure exactly what we should do, to be honest. Like, especially the first 3 days. It's just, these first 3 days is mainly to just get over jet lag. That's like the main thing that I want for my parents the first 3 days here. Nothing going to be really special for the first 3 days. But if anyone has any relaxing suggestions for the first 3 days in Malaysia, let me know. Like the things I have in my mind, like something relaxing, not too hard. We don't want to do nothing. Like we're going to go get some good food in Malaysia. Any recommendations on restaurants, that would be great. Also, I think we'll go to the Batu Caves. I've never been there myself, but it's in KL, so it's really, really close. And I'm also considering getting one of those like 2-hour massages, like from the foot and the leg and the shoulders and stuff. So I think I want to take my parents to get one of those also. So those are just a couple of things that are in my heart and my mind. So yeah, any suggestions, would love to hear it. And if any of you, because I would love to hear all the suggestions, mainly because we will be coming back on January 26th. And at that time, we're going to be spending 6 days here. And that's going to be more of a time of just spending, that's more sightseeing time. So I'm thinking maybe like go to the Petronas Towers and Batu Caves, and then get a massage, like something along that line, and having some really good food. And that's kind of all that I'm thinking about so far. Well, so just let me know in the comments below if you have any other suggestions. So a little update on the car that broke down. They found out that they need to replace the entire gearbox, right? The transmission. And they're going to get it fixed by today. But yeah, so I'm super happy about that. But man, what an experience with that car. And I think it's totally a Providence car. You know why I think it's a Providence car? Because it went through a lot of tribulations, it made it through, and it does things until the end, until the last day, until December 31st, until the very end of the year. It did as much as it could, from the punctured tire, broken radiator, replacing the gearbox, replacing the rear window, all within 2 months. And yes, it did it until the end. So definitely a Providence car, right? So I'm hoping that none of these things will happen in the new year. But hey, there's one cool thing that I've been trying out. Like, I told you guys I've been listening to this one podcaster. He's a neuroscientist named Andrew Huberman. And I really, really like, all of it is scientific facts, studying the brain and how the brain works. And there's there's 3 tips that I use of his that really help me out at pre-dawn. Like really, really helps me out to get up, like really, really get up. And the 3 tips, number 1 is, the moment I get up, he said, the first thing that your eyes need to wake up is light. So right when I wake up, the first thing I do, I just click on the light. Like I have a light thing right next to my bed. I click it on and I have light in my eyes. It hurts a little bit. Well, not it hurts, but it's a little uncomfortable in the beginning. But that begins the waking up process for it triggers the brain to wake up, kind of like the sun rising. It says, of course, sunlight is the best way to do it, but if you can't get sunlight, use artificial light, and then get sunlight when it finally comes out. And then the second thing I do is, he says, sit up vertically, and that's another thing that triggers your brain to kind of get the process of getting up, of waking up your brain too. So those are the first 2 things I do. First thing, I hear the alarm, I turn it off, and the first thing I do is turn the light on and I stare at the light, right? So I'm staring at the light, And honestly, I can feel myself waking up. I can really, really feel it. Then the second thing I say to myself is like, sit up, sit up, sit up. And then I just sit up, and then I'm vertical and I stay in that sit up position for a few seconds. And then I start getting up, and the third point that he makes is do not look at your phone. That low level light is not good for your for waking up. That low level light that your phone emits, that low level blue light is not good for your brain for getting up and waking up. So I don't turn on, I don't check. The only time I check my phone is to turn off my alarm. Then I say to myself, lights on, click on the lights. Next thing is sit up. And then I get up, I go brush my teeth, I wash up, and as I'm walking around the house, I'm turning on all the lights. That's what I do. Turn on all the lights as I'm washing up, I'm brushing my teeth, and it's been a lifesaver for me, even when I'm super tired. And I realize even more the value in doing research and learning more every day. Right, and there was another member that I remember in Europe when I was in Europe doing missions work. There was one member I really respected, and like her routine was straight up. The moment her alarm went off, she would sit up right away and start praying. That was her first thing: sit up, pray, and thank God for waking her up and everything else. And then she started her day, right? But so I was like, wow, so there is a benefit of her sitting up right away. So if you guys are having difficulty waking up and pre-dawn, or kind of like, you're kind of just stuck in bed and scrolling in your phone, which is one of the worst things he said, is to be horizontal and look at low emitting light. He said, first thing you do, turn on the lights. Stare at the light, just get the light into your eyes. Second thing, get vertical, and then just start, don't look at your phone and just start going around, brush your teeth, wash up, turn the lights on all over the house. And from that point on, it becomes a lot easier for me to do pre-dawn, and it keeps me awake a lot more. I'm more awake when I do pre-dawn too. So I'm really, it's been a lifesaver for me over these last 2 weeks, right? The poll came out. Poll's going really well. Three things to be successful: mentality, skill, and time, which is the most important. And mentality's at 81%. I would actually say 85%, considering all the people that wrote in the others are talking about mentality. So about 85% mentality, 8% skill, 8% time. Right? And tomorrow on Friday's podcast, because I'm going to make this poll more weekly, starting it on Monday instead of doing it on Tuesdays. I'm going to do it more weekly on a Monday. And what we're going to do now is we're going to make sure that I'll give you the answer by Friday. What's the answer, right? So everyone, the vast majority said mentality, 81, 85%. But we'll go into that too. All right, so we'll talk about that a little bit tomorrow. It is Question Answer Thursday. I got a couple of questions today, about 3 questions from 2 people. One from Taiwan. A newcomer is asking where do roaches come from? Did God make roaches, right? And the answer is no, God did not make roaches. But we got to get into the reasoning and the answer behind it. It's the same including with mosquitoes and flies and stuff like that too. So Sunseem does have an answer for that. And also Nelly has a great question too about birthrights in the Old Testament. The firstborn received most of the father's blessing. Actually, the firstborn receives half. Half of the inheritance goes to the firstborn, and the rest of the children split the other half, right? So the blessing of the birth of the Messiah did not go to Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, but to Judah's lineage. Was this because Reuben slept with Jacob's concubine, which is in Genesis chapter 49? And the next question is, why then was Judah chosen over Joseph as a tribe from which Jesus was to be born, right? So that's a very, very good question. 2 questions right there. We'll go over that during the Q&A Thursday. All right, so let's get into some music going on from member artists from around the world. I really, really love this section because we're getting more and more new artists. We do have a GGG today for day 5, and it's new music from a new artist. I just found out. I talked to them yesterday, so that's going to be our GGG for today. Brand new artist from Japan. I did talk to him a little bit before, but I didn't know he had all this music coming out. So he's already got 10 songs out. So I'm going to be playing one of his songs called Promise today for the GGG. Really, really happy. Brand new artist was found, and that's something we can give glory to God to also. So feature artist of the day. Today's feature artist is none other than Kuro Black and Julius Miyumo from Australia, and this song is Inside My Head, a great rock song. After that, we have Nature from Die Wings in Korea with More featuring Heji, and then last but not least, we have the Sumney Boys from America with the song
지금은 그럭저럭 웃고 있어. 미래에도 그냥 저냥 웃고 있을까? 달려가고 있는데 도착해 있을까? 예전에 비하면 가진 것도 많은데 아직도 약해 빠져있네.
Third November 29번째 birthday ever Surprise for myself 어릴 때 이랬던 추상화 simple happy life 행복이란 것의 정의 이젠 알았으니 구체적인 그림 그려 핑크때 힘을 실어 마음엔 여유 싫어 이기적인 건 싫어 너와 같이 가고 싶어 get you follow 익힌 기킨 알로 all I need is hello lot of hello 시끄러운 세상 소음기만 깨느껴 음악에 취해 볼륨을 더 켜서 바로 작품을 만들어 Skid up 멈춰 있지 않아 Love more I'm more do it better than you have been said What you're thinking
잘해주면 뭐해 배신으로 갔는데 절절매지 않아 그들에겐
여기 사람이 못되고 끝나는 가여운 존재 행한 대로 받는 거지 그래 그게 너인 거지 What's gonna 뭘 했다고 하길 뗐다고 진절머리 More do it It's better What's gonna 포기하긴 아직 이르다고 More do it It's better Yeah What's gonna 뭘 했다고 하길 뗐다고 진절머리 More do it It's better Yeah What's gonna 포기하긴 아직 이르다고 More do it It's better 시간의 floor 따라 익어가는 my shape
기억의 floor 따라 잊어가는 childhood
아직 지운 말도 까야지만 여태 끌어온 산말 뒤돌아보게 돼
아직 서툰 것이 많아도 미안하지만 여기서 있는 myself도 자랑스러워
Yo, make me more masterpiece Yo, let me more illumination spot 하늘에 떠있는 흰 구름 곁에 나 빛이 제 빛이어도 바닥에 삼켰던 해를 내뱉을 쯤새 하얀 네 모습 널리 보여줘 새파란 하늘을 가득 메울 때쯤 저 하늘도 포근히 감싸 안아줘 What's gonna 뭘 했다고 하길 뗐다고 진절머리 More do it It's better What's gonna 포기하긴 아직 이르다고 More do it It's better Yeah What's gonna 뭘 했다고 하길 뗐다고 진절머리 More do it It's better Yeah What's gonna 포기하긴 아직 이르다고 More do it It's better
I can't believe it when I'm with you, love. I can't believe it that we even talk. I don't know how it's real. I don't know how you feel. I wish I wasn't flawed, I don't mean to. 'Cause you deserve better and you know it. But don't let me go. Please don't let me go. I'm wrong, I'm flawed. I'm not the perfect person that you want. But I'm strong, I'll make myself better for you. I know I have a lot of bad moments, but I pray you still see the good in me. Everything that I've done to get here, I got a lot of things to work and see. I know that I messed up, something I say time and time again, over and over again. Always saying that I wanna do better, I keep pushing back again, pushing back again. But now I'm making the effort to show you I'm making it better. Made up my mind to get it together and become perfect no matter the pressure. Okay. I know in the past that I love you way better, and now it hurts knowing that I could do better. Let's talk about this for you deserve better. I'm wrong, I'm flawed. I'm not the perfect
perfect person that you want, but I'm strong. I'll make myself better for you. I'll overcome myself again, again, again. I'll always make myself again, again, again. I won't quit, no, no. I won't quit. I'm wrong, I'm flawed. I'm not the perfect person that you want, but I'm strong. I'll make myself better for you. Better for you. Better for you.
And that is the Sumney Boys from America with Better. Before that, we had Nature from Die Wings in Korea with More and More. And last but not least, we had the feature arts of the day. That's Kiro Black and Julius Miyomo from Australia with Inside My Head. All right, so let's get into some current news going on around the world. And as brides of this history, we have the responsibility to pray for the world. But in order to pray for the world, we need to know what is going on. So let's start off with Russia and the Ukraine. And Russia blames a missile attack on troops' phone use. Russia said a New Year missile attack that killed at least 89 Russian soldiers happened because troops were using their mobile phones. Ukraine hit a college for conscripts in Makivka in the occupied Donetsk area shortly after midnight on January 1st. Soldiers' use of banned phones allowed the enemy to locate its target, the Russian military has now said. Now, while the number of people killed is unverified, it is the largest death toll acknowledged by Russia in the war. Ukraine claims the figure is far higher, saying 400 soldiers were killed in the attack and a further 300 wounded. Russia said that at 12:01, right, just 1 minute after midnight local time on New Year's Day, 6 rockets were fired from a U.S.-made HIMARS rocket system at a vocational college, 2 of which were shot down. The deputy commander of the regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Bakarin, was among those killed, the military of defense said in a statement on Telegram in the early hours of Wednesday. A commission is investigating the circumstances of the incident, the statement said, but it is already obvious that the main cause of the attack was the presence and mass use of mobile phones by troops in range of Ukrainian weapons, despite this being banned, he added. This factor allowed the enemy to locate and determine the coordinates of the location of military personnel for a missile strike. Officials found guilty in the investigation will be brought to justice, the statement added, and steps are being taken to prevent similar events in the future. Russia also raised the number of Russian soldiers killed in the attack to 89, up from 63. Although there is no way of verifying how many soldiers were killed, it is extremely rare for Moscow to confirm any battlefield casualties. The vocational college was packed with conscripts at the time, men who were among the 300,000 called up in President Putin's partial mobilization in September. Ammunition was also being stored close to the site, which was reduced to rubble. Some Russian commentators and politicians have accused the military of incompetence, saying the troops should never have been given such vulnerable accommodations. In also news from Europe, when it comes to European weather, the winter heat records are smashed all over the continent. Temperatures for January have reached an all-time high in a number of nations across Europe. National records have fallen in 8 countries and regional records in another 3. Warsaw, Poland saw 18.9 degrees Celsius on Sunday, while Bilbao, Spain was 25.1 Celsius, more than 10 degrees above average. The mild European weather comes as North America faces more severe storms, days after a deadly winter cold snap left more than 60 dead. Heavy snow and freezing rain have been forecast for parts of the northern Midwest, while severe thunderstorms and tornadoes are expected in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana. But on the European side of the Atlantic, the weather has been balmy for many places at the start of the year. Temperatures in the Netherlands, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Latvia, Czech Republic, Poland, Denmark, and Belarus broke national records. Station records were broken in Germany, France, and Ukraine. The temperature record in Warsaw on the 1st of January was 4 degrees higher than the previous record for the month, and Belarus's record high was 16.4 degrees Celsius, about 4.5 degrees above the previous record. In Spain, New Year's Day temperatures in Bilbao were equivalent to the average in July, and parts of Catalonia, including Barcelona, are subject to restrictions on water use. Records are broken all the time, but it's unusual for the difference to be more than a few tenths of a degree. In Switzerland, temperatures hit 20 degrees Celsius, and the warm weather has affected ski resorts across the Alps, which have seen a snow shortage. It's not all warm in Europe, though. Colder temperatures and snow are forecast in parts of Scandinavia, and Moscow is expected to drop to minus 20 Celsius by the weekend. And just days earlier, the UK, Ireland, France, and Spain declared 2022 their hottest year on record. In the UK, every month but December was hotter than average, and December itself saw snow fall across large parts of the country, although conditions are milder and wetter now. Heat waves have become more frequent, more intense, and last longer because of human-induced climate change. However, winter events such as these do not have the same human impact as summer heat waves, which can result in large numbers of excess deaths. The world has already warmed by about 1.1 degrees Celsius since the industrial era began, and temperatures will keep rising unless governments around the world make steep cuts to emissions, which is something that is very, very debatable when it comes to climate change. So it is something that we have to research a lot and not just listen to what people are saying. I do suggest if you want to talk about climate change, do a lot of research on it because there is information on both sides. Last but not least, we'll go into Canada. Foreigners are now banned from buying homes in Canada. A 2-year ban on some foreigners buying homes in Canada has come into effect. The ban aims to help ease one of the most unaffordable housing markets in the world. As of this summer, the average home price in Canada is about $568,000 US, more than 11 times the median household income after taxes. Some have been critical of the ban, saying it is unclear what impact it will have on Canada's housing market. Non-Canadian residents make up less than 6% of homeowners in Ontario and British Columbia, where national statistics indicate home prices are the highest. As of January 1st, the ban prohibits people who are not Canadian citizens or permanent residents from buying residential properties and imposes a $10,000 fine on those who breach it. In late December, 11 days before the ban came into effect, the Canadian government announced some exemptions to the regulation, including for international students who have been in the country for at least 5 years, refugee claimants, and people with temporary work permits. In a statement, Federal Housing Minister Ahmed Hussein said the ban is meant to discourage buyers from looking at homes as commodities instead of a place to live and grow a family. While housing prices in Canada dipped slightly in 2022, they remain much higher than a decade ago. Housing prices were up 48% last year compared to 2013, when the average price of a home was less than $500,000 American. Meanwhile, the average household income for Canadians has struggled to keep pace to rising home prices. The latest data indicates the median after-tax household income grew 9.8% from 2015 to 2020, and these numbers set Canada's housing market up as one of the most unaffordable in the world, ranking the country higher than New Zealand, US, and the UK, according to a statistics analysis of house price to income ratios. The average home price in 2 of Canada's largest cities, Toronto and Vancouver, has topped the $1 million mark, often putting them at the list of top 10 most unaffordable cities in the world. Yes, my parents live in British Columbia, which has one of the highest housing prices. I am so grateful and thankful that they bought a house like 20 years ago because they just paid it off last year, so I'm super happy about that. New Zealand passed a similar legislation banning foreign home buyers in 2018 as the country grappled with its own housing affordability crisis. However, inflation-adjusted home prices have continued to rise since the ban came into effect. Other countries have enacted different measures to curb foreign home ownership, including by implementing designated restricted zones where non-residents are barred from purchasing homes or bringing in specific fees on foreign buyers. So there it is, guys. That is the top 3 news around the world. A lot of different things to pray about. Hope it's something that helps you out in your prayers. Let's get into some sporting news. A big update on Damar Hamlin. I talked about him yesterday. His condition is still critical, but now he is breathing on his own, so that is great news for him and his family. The family of Damar Hamlin on Tuesday thanked the public for its support and asked for continued prayers for the Buffalo Bills safety, who remains hospitalized in critical condition after going into cardiac arrest on the field in Cincinnati on Monday night. Hamlin actually has a foundation. It's called Chasing M's that has been raising money for a toy drive. His stated goal was $2,500. But by Tuesday, guess what the donations were at? $5 million, right? So after his injury, a lot of people want to support him in some way, and everyone's been donating to his charity. And that charity, think about this, was only their goal was $2,500. It's at $5 million now, and people are not giving big chunks. People are donating like $20, $15, $25, and they've reached $5 million already. So that I think is quite amazing. In second news, let's go into soccer with the EPL. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta blasts 2 scandalous penalty calls in Newcastle draw. The draw 0-0 was the first time Arsenal had dropped points at the Emirates Stadium this season, as they missed the opportunity to go 10 points clear of second place Manchester City. Manchester United beat Bournemouth to draw level with third place Newcastle. Man U defeated AFC Bournemouth 3-0 on Tuesday night at Old Trafford to draw level with Newcastle on points in the Premier League table. It was Casemiro scoring in the first half, and Luke Shaw added United's second right after the break to set Erik ten Hag's side on their way to win. That leaves them on 35 points and equal to a third place Newcastle, but trailing on goal difference. So that's Man U. They're getting themselves back up, so that's good news for them. Last but not least, we're going to the NBA. And we're talking about yesterday being one of the craziest scoring nights I have ever seen. So let's start off first with Donovan Mitchell from the Cleveland Cavs. He scores 71 points in an overtime win against the Chicago Bulls. He's already an all-star. Donovan Mitchell added his name to one of the NBA's most rarefied lists Monday night. Mitchell set a Cleveland record with 71 points, most by an NBA player in 17 years, and the Cavs rallied from 21 down to beat the Chicago Bulls 145-134 in overtime on Monday night. Now, it wasn't just him. Klay Thompson scores 54 points Monday night, and it was the most since his career best scoring outing of 60, accomplished in 3 quarters on December 5th against the Indiana Pacers. It was Thompson's 4th career 50-point game and 7th win at 7th with at least 10 3-pointers. LeBron James joining this point spree. He tops 40 points for the second straight game as the Lakers win. LeBron James hit the 40-point plateau for the second straight game since his 38th birthday in the LA Lakers 121-115 win over the Hornets on Monday. So he had a great game. And then Joel Embiid also had 42 points and 11 rebounds in a 120-111 victory over the New Orleans Pelicans. So it was a crazy scoring night, but that 71 is just ridiculous. The other two we know that in this generation that happened was, I think it was 70 points by Devin Booker. Devin Booker scored 70 points several years back, and of course we know the 81 points by Kobe Bryant and that one was a crazy game too. But yeah, think about that, 71 points in a single game, just ridiculous. All right, so there it is, guys. That is the top 3 news in sports and news from around the world. Hope you guys really enjoyed that. But you know what that means? It is the golden time. Yes, this is the golden time, a time of praise and worship to the Holy Trinity. Hope all of you guys are looking forward to giving glory to God and the Holy Spirit. So, what are we going to praise and worship today? We're going to start off with His Will, and then Let's Rise Up, and then we'll end things off with Though You Don't Say a Word. So, as one body of the Morning Star Drive, let's spend this time giving praise, honor, and glory to the Holy Trinity.
I believe without a doubt
rise up and shine. Pray without ceasing and seek the Lord with all your heart. The army of God must rise and stand up against the dark forces. Prepare yourselves completely and know that the battle has already begun. If you don't stand up and fight, then who will? God has called you to shine and make this history happen. Are you ready? Let's go!
Valley of Ezekiel's dry bones were brought to life by God. They resurrected, transformed into an army. We are ready, so we'll fight the evil ones. Our victory is assured. We'll conquer Satan and make straight the Lord's path. With the belt of truth tightly fastened, the breastplate of righteousness in place, fitted with shoes of the gospel, shield of faith, salvation's helmet, and sword of the Holy Spirit. That's all rise up, that's all rise up, that's all rise up, for the rocket shining brightly. That's all rise up, that's all rise up, that's all rise up, for the rocket shining brightly. We have the victory. I'll baptize you in the Holy Spirit, so rise up and shine the light. Equip yourself with the armor of Jehovah. I am always beside you, so you must be bold. Take courage and be strong. Proclaim the Lord's deep heart to all the nations. With the belt of truth tightly fastened, the breastplate of righteousness in place, fitted with shoes of the gospel, shield of faith, salvation's helmet, and sword of the Holy Spirit. That's all rise up, that's all rise up, that's all rise up, for the rocket shining brightly. That's all rise up, that's all rise up, that's all rise up, for the rocket shining brightly.
Now is the time to rise and shine. Think about the past and never forget. God and the Lord by your side, holding your hand, drying your eyes. Trust in the Lord every night and day. He'll never let you go, don't fall away. Be bold, be brave, and with all your might, love the Lord to the end of
That's
time.
all rise up, that's all rise up, that's all rise up, shining brightly. That's all rise up, that's all rise up, that's all rise up, shining brightly. That's all rise up, that's all rise up.
down this heart of mine and call out only to you. Be with me forevermore. Receive my love, God, I pray. I lift up my eyes and I look to you, God alone. Even though you don't say a word, I can feel your burning heart. Even though you don't say a word, I can feel your earnest love.
As much as time passes us by,
As much as the stories we share, my heart deepens with thanks, my heart deepens in love. Please receive this heart of mine, my only God, my beloved God, 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 my only God, my beloved God.
And that was Though You Don't Say a Word. Before that, Let's Rise Up, and of course, that song, His Will, all right? So let's get into today's question and answer Thursday. It is today's word study. I hope you guys really enjoyed this section. We have a couple questions coming out from the audience out there, and I hope you guys continue to bring in your questions. There's lots of things that are going on each and every day of our life, and you know, you can do it anonymous. You can do it in a way where no one knows even what country it comes from, but I know that a lot of people are curious about certain things, especially when it comes to reading the Bible also. So let's go to the first question, right? The first question is very interesting. This is from Taiwan, and there's a newcomer that's asking, where do roaches come from? Did God create roaches? Because, you know, they're so dirty and they're ugly and stuff like that too. And of course, most people are going to say that, of course, God created all things. But when we learn from Sunsim, one of the interesting things, like you'll hear stories about Sunsim spending like 2 hours trying to catch a mosquito in his room. And then he'll say like mosquitoes symbolize Satan, right? And so he'll just go around trying to find this stupid mosquito just everywhere, 2-3 hours, right? And a lot of people who don't know, they're probably going to be like, oh, how can you kill something made from God? Or they'll say, oh, it is from God. But what Sunsim says is, roaches and like flies and mosquitoes and dirty things, they are not created by God. So then it's kind of like, well, how the heck then? Who created them? Satan created them? Like, are you saying that Satan created them, and that's why they symbolize Satan? And it's not so much that; it's more because they're dirty, right? So then, where do these bugs and like these kind of like these originally, like they weren't made by God. Like, how were they made then? Of course, they were made by the same principle. So remember, when God is creating all things, there's a principle he puts in place, and then he just lets it run. Like, let me give you an example. For instance, what's something like he'll make a rule like people are paid according to what they do. So it's not like all of a sudden God will just turn to someone and just give them cancer because they did something wrong. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what he does. It's where does cancer come from? Cancer is a disease, and the disease comes from things that are dirty, right? Like, even last time when Sunsim was talking about autism, I remember in my church, there was like several kids that had autism in our church when I was in New York, and we asked the question about autism, and Sunsim's answer was, it's because the womb is dirty. Like, people don't clean themselves. There's something that was way back in the past that women used to do in my generation, which was called a douche, right? Which they clean their private area, right? And Sunsim was saying that if it's not clean, then when you have a baby in that condition, it can cause autism, right? So like all of us were kind of shocked by like, oh my gosh, I wonder what this means, right? But interesting thing is, the origin of life, Sunsim says the original origin of life comes from water and dirt. Those are the two things that are necessary for life to begin, right? And this is why you'll find scientists who put water and dirt together, all of a sudden bacteria grow, and then you'll have these single cell life forms, right? And that's kind of how like life began, with water and dirt. Single cell life forms begin, and they begin to multiply. They become more and more complex, and eventually they become like humans and animals and plants and trees and all these other different things. They come from water and dirt, okay? Now, where do these dirty things come from, like flies and mosquitoes and roaches? Well, remember, it's the same principle of how things are made. However, Sunsim said that it's from dirty things. If things are not cleaned up, and if things remain dirty for a long time, then these diseases or these bugs or unwanted roaches and mosquitoes and flies form. Right? So think about this. When we're talking about SARS, remember SARS? SARS was this big thing that happened in Hong Kong, and Sunsim was saying is because it was so dirty in Hong Kong, they weren't cleaning up. And that's why all of a sudden these diseases come about. Right? So when you understand the concept of how life forms, right, it's made by the same principle God made. But if it's made in the right way, it's made for things that God really wanted to be created. But if things are constantly dirty and dirty and dirty and never cleaned, then other life forms begin to be created from that same principle. So technically speaking, did God create them? Technically, yes, because he created the formula or the principle in which life begins. Did he intend for those insects and bugs to be made? And the answer is no, because the expectation is that everyone's going to be clean, right? That we're going to, like, even when dirty things happen, we're going to clean it up right away. Like, if you look way back in the past, when you look at sanitation, people just used to pee and crap on the streets, and they wouldn't be cleaned up, you know what I mean? But now we have much, much better sanitation systems, so people are living longer. We're not having as much diseases unless we do bad things. Like, for instance, you have people that are, like, the STDs, sexually transmitted diseases. People are, like, having, like, 10, 20, 100 sexual... But, like, I was listening to one of these podcasts, and they're saying, like, the top 5% of men, they have, like, 150 partners. Isn't that crazy? And then the average person has had 5 in their lifetime. 5 is the average. But when you get to the top 5%, it's 150. So you're talking about the top 5% taking 150 girls each on average. So if you took the 5% out, it would be less than 5 per person, right? As an average human being, right? So this is quite crazy when you think about how disease and all this life begins, and how these things like roaches and flies and mosquitoes are all created. It's from dirty stuff, right? It's from dirt not being cleaned up. And of course, you want to take a look at that. I would, like, if there's any principle I would connect it to, it would be predestination, right? There's an intention. God gave this human responsibility, right? Human responsibility for each and every human being. So there was a specific plan or a certain ideal way history is supposed to be made, but because of human responsibility, there's plan B. There's the path of the cross. Sunsim goes to court again. Like there's all these things happen because people don't use their responsibility, right? So what God is, the principle that God has made for life, the same is used when it comes to dirty things, that people don't do their responsibility. Things are kept dirty and it's dirty, and then more and more bacteria and more of these things begin to grow, and then you have these bugs that are unwanted that come out, like mosquitoes and flies and roaches and stuff like that too. So were they made by God? Kind of yes and no. God made the principle for life to begin, right? However, he didn't intend for those bugs or like mosquitoes and flies and stuff to be made in that way. So that's the explanation that Sunsim was giving. I would definitely go into a lot of, if you had time, to go research how life begins with water and dirt. And you'll see how these things are actually created, and it takes a lot of time. Okay, that's the first question. Second question is from Nelly. Great question here. It's about birthrights. Birthrights, super important custom in the Old Testament. So the firstborn receive most of the father's blessing, which is half, and the rest of the kids split the rest of the other half, right? However, the blessing of the birth of Jesus did not go to Reuben, who is Jacob's firstborn from Leah, but to Judah's lineage, which is the fourth son, which is quite interesting. So was this because Reuben slept with Jacob's concubine, right? And the next question would be, why then was Judah chosen over Joseph as the tribe from which Jesus was to be born? So here's a couple of good questions. And of course, one thing you need to know is when the blessings came from Jacob to his children in Genesis chapter 49, that was at the end of his life. So these kids went through all their different choices in life. And through those choices, it made an impact on what their blessings were. Right? So yes, it was obviously God speaking through Jacob when he blessed his sons at the end of his life in Genesis chapter 49, right? And of course, the custom at that time was the eldest son of the first wife, which is Leah, right, was to receive the birthright. Then the eldest of the second wife, okay? So Jacob loved Rachel, the second daughter of Laban. However, we all know the story. Laban substituted Leah, the eldest, on the wedding night due to tradition. And 1 week later, Jacob married Rachel. Okay, so we know that, okay? So Reuben, the eldest son of Leah, violated the law. What did he do? He lost the birthright, and the birthright passed to Joseph, the eldest of Rachel, right? So what actually happened, right, to Reuben? Remember, the first four of Leah's, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. Like those are the first four. And then, of course, from Rachel's side, it was Joseph, which is the 11th, and then Benjamin was the youngest, okay, so of the 12 sons. So what happened was Reuben slept with Bilhah, right? Who is Bilhah? Bilhah was one of his father's concubines and mother of the sons of Dan and Naphtali, okay? So it's basically his father's wife, right? And you'll see this recorded in Genesis chapter 35, verse 22. And Jacob saw this as defiling his own marriage bed. So this is how Reuben lost out on his firstborn birthright. Now, Simeon and Levi, what did they do? Because they're before Judah also. Simeon and Levi slaughtered the men of the town of Shechem, right? And why did they do that? Because they raped their sister Dinah, right? And then they told them, if all the men in the town of Shechem, if they all get circumcised, then we will accept you as one of our own. And when they got circumcised, Simeon and Levi went in, straight up murdered all the men in there. And then on the third day, when they were sore, they just got circumcised. On the third day, they were sore. They couldn't defend themselves. And this all happened in Genesis chapter 34. So Jacob basically disinherited Simeon and Levi from the covenant too, citing their anger and recklessness. Okay, and that's also in Genesis chapter 49. You'll find that stuff out. And this left Judah as the next oldest who got the best part of the blessing, the lion's share of the blessing, in fact. And you'll see that also in Genesis 49 when that comes to him blessing them. Okay, so you kind of see that there were four from the first four that were born was Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. And Reuben, Simeon, and Levi, they all made massive mistakes, right? Disinherited, right? So they couldn't get the birthright. Okay, so so those are the three first ahead of Judah, why they couldn't get that. So you guys can understand that point, right? So the next question is, why then was Judah chosen over Joseph as a tribe from which Jesus was to be born, right? So this is the one that I honestly don't really have an answer. This seems more something that we're gonna have to ask Sunseem or God about, because yeah, that's a question that I would ask too. Is like, wait, well, if that's the case, then why doesn't just Joseph? Because Joseph was the one that was loved the most from Jacob, right? He was loved the most from Jacob. So if these first three eldest all screw up and are disinherited, then why doesn't it go to Joseph? Now, there's a couple of reasonings I have in my mind. Okay, so getting the inheritance of the firstborn is completely different than where the Messiah's lineage is being born from, right? The Messiah's lineage doesn't have to be from the firstborn. And when you start to look at like even the Bible, the firstborn wasn't always the best one, right? When you look at like Adam and Eve, you had like Cain and Abel, and then, you know, the first shall be last, the last shall be first. So you'll be sitting here going, so does the lineage really have to go to the one that has the birthright? And the answer is absolutely not, right? Look at Cain and Abel, right? Well, not Cain and Abel, sorry. Let's look at Jacob and Esau. Is it Jacob and Esau? Yeah, Jacob and Esau, right? Esau was the firstborn, but yet the birthright was given to Jacob instead, right? So that birthright was a blessing that was given. But if we're actually talking about the birth of the Messiah, I'm not sure if the requirement for the lineage of the birth of the Messiah has to come from the eldest, right? It has to come from the person with the birthright. Because even when you look at King David was the 8th of his brothers. He was the youngest of his brothers, right? So he wasn't really someone who had the birthright. Yeah, he came from the lineage of Judah, but the birthright doesn't seem to be a prerequisite for the Messiah to be born from, but just had to be born from one of the lineages, right? But, you know, later on we find out it's the lineage of King David, right? Why is it from King David? Why is it from Judah? Honestly, I am not sure about that, but I don't think the birthright is a prerequisite that the Messiah has to be born from that line. Couple things that we could think about. We could think about this in one sense is it's kind of poetic justice in one sense where Jacob married Rachel, but he was deceived by his uncle and was given Leah instead. So think about this. You're Leah and you love Jacob so much and you're the first wife, but your own husband loves your sister more than you, right? And you see that there is this deep shimjung, obviously this deep grievance that Leah had, being the one that the first wife and the one that loved Jacob so much. And from that, what happened? He loved his Leah's sisters more. And when you look at Jesus' life too, Jesus kind of had a very, very similar path where he was of the people of Israel, like Leah. He's one of the people, but he was hated by his own people. And Jacob was someone who loved someone else more than he loved Leah. And he kind of had, you could see like a very similar shimjung from it. Another thing that I think in my head, like just thinking right now, is also like that first wife seems to have a big difference. Like the first wife is such a big thing. Like Abraham too. The first wife was Sarah, and from Sarah came the lineage, right? However, Sarah was the first wife, but couldn't have a baby until a little bit later. And then eventually it was his servant Hagar that gave him the first son, yet it was the second wife and she was sent away, right? Because it was on behalf of the first wife, and from the first wife came the lineage, right? So in my head, I'm just thinking, well, in the same way too, you have Leah as the first wife, where the first seeds come from. And maybe I'm guessing, Leah actually had 6 children altogether, right? And she, even though she wasn't the one that Jacob loved the most, she actually gave him 6 sons while Rachel only gave him 2, right? but it was the first wife. So when I look at the situation with Abraham also, the first wife was the most important in the lineage, the most important one came from the first wife. So I'm thinking that could be a possible answer also, because Leah was the first wife and it should come from, I guess, Judah, right? Which was the fourth person in line, but the first three were disinherited. So those are a couple of things that I have, but I don't know the actual answer of why Judah was chosen over Joseph as a tribe from which Jesus was to be born. But the one thing I do know for sure is it's not a prerequisite. There's nothing in the Bible that says that it has to be from the very firstborn. And the second thing that I was thinking about is that first wife seems to be a very, very important matter, more than a second wife. Either way. So that's kind of the thing that was in my head. I hope it's something that you guys can gain a lot from also. But that is the 3 questions from today's Q&A Thursday. I hope it's something that you guys really enjoy and understand, and gives you a little bit more insight in the scriptures also. All right? So there it is, guys. That is the end of the Q&A Thursday today. I hope it's something that you guys really enjoyed, which leads us into day 5 of giving glory to God. And yes, we're giving glory. I talked to him yesterday. Naomichi Higuma, he's a member in Japan. He has a band called Tecmo Plus. Tecmo Plus is a Japanese band. And he's got a YouTube channel. He's got a bunch of songs on there too. Tecmo Plus. If you just go to YouTube and click in Tecmo, Tekmo, with the plus symbol, then you're gonna find his YouTube channel. He's got a couple songs on there. He's done live performances too. I really, really like his music. So we're gonna give glory today with a brand new artist in Providence. This is Naomichi Higuma with his band Tecmo Plus, and this song is called Promise. And there it is. That is Tecmo Plus. That's coming from our members. That's Naomichi Higuma, member in Japan. First song, Giving Glory to God on day 5. Hope you guys really enjoyed this. I loved it, and I'm looking forward to listening to more songs. I know he has a new song coming out in about next week. I think it's next Thursday. A brand new song is dropping, so I can't wait to hear that one too. All right, so there it is, guys. That is Giving Glory to God, day 5. Brand new artist Naomichi Higuma with his band Tecmo Plus, and that song was Promise. All right, so let's get into our final segment for today. And of course, every Thursday, here's Daniel Baker doing a great job. He's just out of high school, and he's doing a segment on mental health. This is Till the End with Daniel Baker.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Do It Until the End podcast. Now today, I have a few fun announcements I'm going to make, then we're going to go into the meat of the content. Now, wow, it is the new year, 2023. It's the year that was prophesied in the Bible of Daniel. It's going to be an amazing year. It is the year that we're going to go to the top. We're going to fulfill everything that was in the Bible, but also it is the time where we're going to evangelize the most. Now, I have to say that I came into this year with a lot of stress, but with a lot of excitement. You know, one of the things that I thought when it turned 12 p.m. and the time ticked into 2023 was new year, new goals, and new work. Those three. I thought of this. Now, why? Now, new year, duh, it's a new year, right? But, new goals, makes sense. Many people make new goals, new year resolutions, but why new work? What does this mean for me? New work, well, to put it simply, God gave me a promotion, quote unquote, if you will. I, originally was a shussu teacher, right? SS teacher, but God gave me the position of leader within our church. Now, the position of leader is interesting because it comes with many nuanced responsibilities, and I have to manage a group of SS teachers, but also I have to manage everyone in the group of SS, which currently this year is 30 people within our church. So 30 SS I have to manage. Now, this is not going to be an easy task because I realized that it's a lot more hands-on than I originally thought. And, I used to have one meeting a week, as an SS teacher. But now, as SS leader, I have one a day. So, wow, I'm getting really busy. But also, I really believe that a busy life is, for me, very happy, because being busy is the one thing that really gets me out of bed every day. And especially when I work for the SS, that's when I have the most fun. Now, I really believe when God gives you a mission, it is a great opportunity to improve yourself, both spiritually, but also like physically, your habits and everything. So I'm with this opportunity that God has given me, I will not take this opportunity lightly, and I will go until the end. Now, the next announcement is a fun one. I got something for Christmas, which for me, it was amazing. I got a really amazing new toy. I wouldn't say it's a toy, but I got a Garmin Forerunner 245. This is an electric watch, and I got it for Christmas. It was a gift to myself. Now, what is a Garmin watch? A Garmin watch is a specialized watch for running. Now, I love running. I think I run at least 3-4 times a week, and I've been running with this watch. But one of the most useful things I've found from having this new gadget was that it tracks my sleep. It doesn't just track how many hours of sleep you have, but also the type of sleep you have. Now, what does that mean? The type of sleep. I'll go into that in a second, but I really believe that people underestimate the power and importance of sleep. Through sleep, through sleep you have energy throughout the day, and if you lack a specific type of sleep, this can really impact your energy levels within the day. Especially when you first wake up, you could feel like crap, and that'll be like first hour or two you'll really struggle through the day. Now, let's go through the different types of sleep. First off, there's REM sleep, which REM stands for rapid eye movement. So this is the type of sleep that is very important. There's also deep sleep, and the third, there's shallow sleep. Now, the scientific terms might be different. So this is going to be a simplified version for the topic. Now, a shallow sleep is the most common type of sleep. During shallow sleep, this is the state where your body is recovering. Your body mainly, so like if you work out and your muscles are broken down, your body is recovering, but your brain is still aware and it's of your surroundings. So when you're shallow sleep, because your brain is still aware of your surroundings, it's very easy to wake you up during this shallow sleep. Now, it's easier for you to wake up during this shallow sleep. For like if there's a noise within your room, then you'll wake up early or wake up easily. Now, that's shallow sleep. But if you have a lot of shallow sleep, if it takes up a mass majority of your sleep, you'll feel very tired and lethargic when you wake up. Now, deep sleep and REM sleep, those are the two most important sleeps because it gives you the most amount of energy. When you wake up and the first feeling you feel or the first thought you think is, wow, I had an amazing sleep. I slept very well. Now, this is because you slept a lot in both REM sleep and deep sleep. Now, REM sleep, rapid eye movement, is very interesting because this is where your brain processes information, makes long-term memories, and have a lot of deep dreams. Now, I had a problem with my relationship with sleep. I was, getting a lot of sleep, but I wasn't getting a lot of REM sleep or deep sleep. So when I woke up, I felt like crap. After sleeping 10 hours, I'll wake up having slept like 2 hours. Like, this was really bad for me. It happened last month, and I was suffering a lot because of that. Because it was really bad, mainly because it was hard for me to take advantage of the morning time because I was just so tired. Now, because of this new watch, I was able to realize what, type of sleep I was getting, and I wasn't getting a lot of deep sleep and REM sleep. So I was able to diagnose this problem. Now, there are some theories why you get little REM sleep during your sleep. First, if your brain is hyperstimulated, either from YouTube or the other apps, if you use them before bed, a hyperstimulated mind will cause some difficulties for your brain to enter deep sleep or REM sleep. So, that's your brain is hyperstimulated. That's number one. Now, number two, the second theory is because your sleep schedule is trash. Your body runs on a circadian rhythm. This rhythm encourages a sleep schedule that you can stick by. Now, having a sleep schedule that improves your chances, if you constantly sleep at that time, it will improve your chances of your brain to shut off and go deeper into REM sleep. Now, this is important because if you sleep at the same time every night, your body gets accustomed to that, and you get to sleep. Your body goes into REM sleep or deep sleep more often, but also it knows when to go into REM sleep or deep sleep. Now, as an adult, you are supposed to get around 20% REM sleep. Now, for babies, they sleep in REM sleep around 80%. Can you guys think about why that might be the case? It's pretty interesting because their brains are developing. For babies, their brains are developing, they're growing. They have 80% in REM sleep. So the REM sleep is where your brain develops the most. Let's say you had a problem. Now, this is something I experienced, but let's say you had a problem and you're trying to learn something very fast. Now, you couldn't get it. You're like, I don't understand it before you slept. But after I slept, I was able to understand the problem and fix it. This was, for me, I was like this for dancing. So when I dance, I wouldn't understand the moves, or I wouldn't remember the order of the moves, and how to improve in it. But when I sleep, because of the REM sleep, because it processes the information, I was able to understand it the next day. Now, to get your 20% of recommended REM sleep, you can do the following. Number 1, you can pray. And you can meditate before bed. This will help you clear your mind. And if you have a hyperactive brain, then it will slowly, put the brakes on your brain. Now, this will prepare your brain into going into deeper sleep. But it's also good, prayer is also good for, connecting with the Lord. But also, number 2, you don't want to or you shouldn't use your phone 1 hour before bed. Don't use your phone before bed because stimulated brain, but also blue light keeps you up. That kind of thing messes with your schedule. Also, number 3, the third thing that is recommended to do is read before bed. Now, this is one of the best ways to fall asleep. Now, funnily, it's one of the best ways to fall asleep. Sometimes because it's boring, but also it is one of the best ways to gain information, and it's really good to process that information during the REM sleep. And also, it just, for me, it just makes me very drowsy when I sleep right before bed, of course. Now, if you have any issues with your sleep, or you feel like your sleep is not as good as the past or as it once was, I recommend going to a doctor and try to find the issue, because there is a chronic side to this whole inconsistent sleep schedule or inconsistent sleep. So go to a doctor, but also try to find ways in your life to try to get better sleep, because sleep, as I said, is very important, and many people underestimate the importance and power of sleep. Now, this is all I have for today. And to everyone who is changing and improving themselves to become closer to the Lord, let's walk this path together. Peace out. Bye-bye.
And again, thank you so much, Daniel, for another wonderful segment of Until the End Mental Health Podcast. Hope you guys really enjoyed that. Please leave a comment below for Daniel. Really, really encouraging, and it'll help him out, especially someone as an SS coming in. He's an SS leader too. Give him some support and some encouragement, and I know that he will really, really, he'll really be encouraged by that too, all right? So there it is, guys. That is the end of today's Thursday podcast. Hope you guys had an amazing time just as I did. And let's see you guys again tomorrow on the Morning Star Drive on 117.8.
It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm